Good evening, free enterprise fans, and welcome to the Monday Night Community Race here today. We've got very special giving of thanks themed event here for you. We'll be getting the whole family back together, but I am joined today, making their debut in the booth here tonight, is Solaris. Solaris, how are you doing today?
Hello, thank you. I am doing excellently. I am very much looking forward to this race tonight. This flag set, I think it's a pretty spicy one. Do you want to talk about why?
Sure, yeah, this is an entirely character-focused flag set. 5 objectives, but those 5 objectives are to get the 5 characters that are actually available in the flag set. It's 5 distinct, so you have to find all 5 of them, sort of getting the family together, like we mentioned. Once you've done that, you'll get access to the crystal and can thus complete the seed. Won't be much grinding to be found here because we have got everything in the shops is free, everything in the shops is wild, so there is a strong possibility of those apples that grind your HP up being available. They'll be free. We'll be shoving them down our characters' mouths until they have 9999 HP.
Absolutely, and if that happens, then expect to find either one of the 3 elemental items that do HP percent damage, that's the Blizzard, Firebomb, or Lit Bolt, or even Kamikaze items become pretty tempting to use as a weapon.
Yes, they do, and it looks like we are off. We've got that Porum start. It's going to be joined by Rydia, so a couple of casters here, and a Pinktail to start. That is always nice once you get your hands on the hook. That is a guaranteed rare item here.
It is, though on this flag set, if we end up doing a lot of shopping, I get a feeling the Pinktail won't see too much use, but we'll see.
Yeah, right you are. With everything in the shops being free and there being such powerful items, I doubt we're going to be seeing a ton of looting from treasure chests in the way.
Yeah, exactly. I would expect no treasure chests to be opened personally, though we'll see kind of what happens here. My expectation for routing is really to go check the shops and look for apples right away.
Yeah, look for apples, look for, like you mentioned earlier, those HP-based elemental attack items that can serve the base of your offense. Got 2 of our runners are stopping right at Baron here to go look. We've got a little bit of diversion. Harumph here is going to Troya. There's 2 item shops available there. And looks like Commander Leonhardt is heading to Kaipo first.
Tybalt finds hourglasses. That'll be pretty useful. And there are also coffins, lit bolts, and kamikazes over in Troya. That's the first shop there.
Yeah, that stop for Harumph is paying off here. Get some Cure 2s, not the best curative item available, but can serve until, you've got HP totals that are going to far eclipse what the Cure 2 can do.
Oh, and Adamants over on Harumph's side in the bottom left here. That's pretty nice to see early on.
Gosh, what is that? I haven't seen that in so long. What is the Adamant?
I know. What is an Adamant?
It is the best armor in the game. Not only does it provide massive amounts of magic and physical defense, status immunities, it also gives you plus 15 to all of your stats, which is absolutely absurd. Every character's going to be slapping that on and just becoming a powerhouse.
Absolutely, especially early game. And Moonveil's available at the Kaipo shop. We are stacked with items today.
Yes, indeed. The dreaded Kaipo lady was holding out on us the whole time. Those Moon Veils, not only do they give you the reflect ability that the Star Veils do, they also give you a essentially permanent blink buff for the rest of the fight. So very easy way against most physical-based bosses to just automatically win.
Indeed, quite useful. And we see Rydia here getting, I believe that is not the most useful summon. What is the name of that summon, actually? It was the monk-looking character. Oh, Titan. Actually, yeah, Titan is quite nice. I'm sorry, that's my bad. That is Titan. Yeah. That is actually pretty useful.
Yeah, it's a decent mid-level. It's basically equivalent to Quake. So getting that early on with Rydia, once she's got the MP to use it, be very useful if we can't find a good stock of those elemental items we were talking about.
However...
Oh, do we have apples?
However, Smipty, Harumph finding in Silvera, we have the AG apples. We are off to the races.
That's all we need. With those available, all of our runners need to do is find those. Their characters are going to be good to go, and all we'll need to do is use those lit bolts that we know are there to do massive HP-based damage to everything. Just a Porum on Mount Hobbs. Now, Porum was the starting character, so they do need to recruit another Porum at some point. The character that you start with does not count as far as the recruitment goes.
Definitely, and it is no dupe, so we will not be able to add another Porum to our team, but yes, you're right, we will need to get a Porum at some point for the objectives.
Yes, that is some information that Commander Leonhardt now knows. And the runners kind of covering each other's tracks here as they kind of complete their shopping excursions. We've got both Tybalt and Groundflyer heading up to Mount Hobbs. They're going to find that Porum there, see if they decide to just go ahead and get it taken care of now, or if they put this off till later.
Yep, and Commander Leonhardt in the top left also checking for apples. Ooh, we actually find the upgraded apple here. Commander Leonhardt finds the gold apples. These are a little bit better, actually twice as good, technically, as the AG apples.
Yeah,
That's a very nice item to find.
Yeah, very important. Though they do effectively the same thing as the silver apples, the gold apples mean a lot less menuing for your team. And as someone who ran a lot of apple seeds back in the World Series of Free Enterprise, the less menuing you have to do, the better. That ding of the apple being used over and over will get on your nerves very quickly.
Oh, I could only imagine. So as we kind of get rolling here in the early game, what are you looking forward to seeing now out of these runners? Like, where would you be thinking about going next? Now that you've found apples, you've found and an item to use with them, where do you go from here?
Once you've kind of got that underway, it sort of goes into your more traditional routing as far as I'm concerned. You're essentially looking for your underworld access, your moon access. That's going to unlock more of those character checks. And you're really going to be looking for those key items that are going to give you a lot of character checks. The Earth Crystal, I think, is particularly valuable right around now, because that's going to be 2 character checks right there, as well as an additional key item that may lead to more.
Makes sense. And Octomam going down immediately to a 5k lit bolt.
You'll love to see it.
With Harumph on the bottom left, actually. And Groundflyer also just getting through with Floor Rages in the top right there.
Yeah, Groundflyer has not either has not gotten the apples or not used them yet. So just getting through on his base level characters here. Took a little bit longer to do that fight than Harumph did, obviously, who was able to just one-shot it. But once he gets his characters online, he's going to be doing considerably more damage as well. And it looks like Tybalt has found the pass. I did not catch which shop that was in, though. Was that in the Fabul shop?
I also missed that.
We're getting confirmation from chat, and Marty, our tracker for this evening, saying yes, the Fabul shop. So big pick up there. That is the last piece of the puzzle you need after you get your characters to head to Zeromus and end the seed.
Groundflyer finding Stardust. That will be useful for him, as he has not found the apples yet. Stardust is a pretty good consumable item for the overworld checks.
Yeah, definitely. Gives you that twin cast spell, Comet, that you normally don't have regular access to. Does really solid AoE damage. But yeah, once you're past the overworld, kind of lacks in usefulness here. And oh, that's an alt gauntlet here in Baron.
It sure is.
Ordinarily a little bit of a pain, but when you've got a screen-wide AoE like this, Harumph does, not much more of a problem.
And a character, it is a character check, so we are incentivized. I did not quite see who was the character here at the Baron Inn, but while we're doing this, I am guessing it's a character that we want.
It is Rydia. Even though we get Rydia at the beginning of the game, Porum and Rydia that we get from the start do not count towards the quest completion. You do have to recruit them somewhere else to get that quest. It's not counted as recruited for starting with them. The quests don't start tracking until you see Objective Way up on the screen after the Enterprise is launched. So even though we add Rydia to the party, this does count towards completion.
Definitely. And I only mention about who is there because if Rydio were not there, I would have been interested. I could see a runner being interested in resetting out of this because this fight does take some time. But we know we need the character here. We'll get a key item out of this also. Makes a lot of sense.
Rare Chocobo summon sighting there on her home screen.
Ground Flyer at the top right, heading into Silvera. I believe he's going to get the good news for the apples. Yep. Purchases them now.
A delicious feast to be had there, indeed.
So many apples. So many apples.
So many apples.
Hope you're real hungry, chat.
And a pair of consecutive Stardust there for Commander Leonhardt gets him through the Magus Sisters, be heading into the Gauntlet himself.
Tybalt now heading into... Oh, the name is just escaping me for some reason. The town where you throw the magma key in.
That'd be Agart.
Finds elixirs. Agart, thank you. Elixirs, that is also a very nice... Get a stack of elixirs. There's your white mage.
Yeah, we're not going to be hurting for healing magic too much with both Porum and Fusoya in the pool, but an elixir is a much more convenient way of healing, especially when you're dealing with health totals that are reaching 10,000. Elixir is a full HP MP cure. Don't need to worry about that being split in any way. So just a much more convenient form of healing than otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. And something that I could see kind of come in later if we find... I do believe we saw kamikazes in one of the earlier shops. There are some bosses I could see where you would throw a 9999 character at a boss and then use somebody to life the character and then the next to elixir and just sort of repeat that loop. Could be pretty fast damage.
Yeah, there are a number of bosses that have elemental resistances. Pale Dim sort of comes to mind. Where it would probably be more efficient to just throw your characters at them with kamikazes rather than try to get them with the elemental damage. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if we see that's how Zeromus is approached. I know that was a typical strategy back in the Appleseed flags, was to just kind of throw somebody over and over with kamikazes rather than dealing with the elemental items.
And we get Tybalt doing, I believe, our first underground check here at the bottom right, heading into the Dwarf Castle. And looks like we have a free fight on our hands, though I suppose all these fights in a way are free now. But we have the King and Queen Eblin at the doll spot.
Yeah, it might even be faster to just go ahead and blast them with items rather than waiting for the storyline script to kick in.
I would imagine so. I believe they each throw at least 3 spells each, Fire 2 and Fire 1.
I believe that's
before
correct,
their script goes off. Yep.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of divergence from our runners here. We've got Tybalt over there in Dwarf Castle. Commander Leonhardt is about to check the job dwarf, most important part of any seed. And they are an interpreter for the hearing impaired. That is a very noble endeavor for a dwarf.
Seed validated. And Marty asking a very good question in chat. Can kamikazes miss to a Val who is tornadoed up?
You know, I honestly, I don't know for sure off the top of my head. I want to say that a kamikaze is one of those attacks that has a guaranteed hit, but I could be very wrong on that.
Alicel and Moonblaze Wolf, and I believe also, I've seen from my own eyes, yes, kamikaze can in fact miss if the spot has, I believe, the maximum magic defense. And if Val is in a very rude spot and we do not find Kane, or she is blocking access to your Kane, that could be quite a rude time for our runners.
I have never been happier to be corrected by chat before, because the idea of kamikaze missing just sounds hilarious.
My favorite part that I learned today about kamikaze missing is that if it misses, you don't actually lose the character. It's sort of an all-in-one thing. If it hits, then the character that used it is also lost. But if it misses, you don't lose the character.
How nice of the game. speaking of overwhelming force, Ground Flyer in the top right saying, "Who needs these elemental items? I've got a young girl who can summon dragons," and uses Bahamut to get through Calbrenna there.
I mean, don't you use dragons to solve all your problems?
Maybe I don't use dragons to solve enough of my problems.
Or I'm finding at the bottom left here at the Baron Bin the tower key.
Yeah, that is interesting. The tower is not immensely attractive in this flag set because there's no character to be gotten there. But getting that tower key, and now that's 2 key items there, could stumble across that Earth Crystal, which is 2 character checks. So it'll be interesting to see if Harump decides to follow up on that.
Yeah, and at the bottom right we had Tybalt, who we do have our warp glitched enabled. Would you like to explain that to chat?
Sure. So the warp glitch is a very interesting thing that was in the vanilla version of Final Fantasy II, or 4, as it would later be renamed when we got the numbers right. But essentially what happens is once you leave the chamber where the crystal is inside of Dwarf Castle, the game updates itself in the story, because it's okay, the next time they need to go into this chamber storyline wise will be when it's down in the sealed cave. So if you warp, which sends you back to the last screen you were at, instead of taking you to the Dwarf Castle crystal room, it takes you to the sealed cave crystal room. So when that glitch is enabled and you take advantage of it, you essentially get 2 key item checks, and you don't need to go to the bottom of the sealed cave to look for a key item. So very advantageous to take advantage of.
Definitely. I like that it's a flag option to turn on or off, because whether it's on or off really enables sort of a strategy around how early you do Dwarf Castle. Unfortunately for Tybalt, we only found an Excalibur there. But, and I did miss the second key item check from the Dwarf Castle, but...
Looking at the tracker, I believe it's the Adamant that was found.
The Adamant. So. Very
not
useful
anything...
in a previous flag set.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing we care about now.
Yeah, in another timeline, that is an excellent find. Right now, it's a key item.
Imagine being unexcited about Adamants.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
What a time.
Only around the holidays.
And Commander Leonhardt top left here facing the Kaipo guards at, I believe, the Fey March. I missed if that was King or Queen.
Yeah, it is the Fey March. I think it's the King spot, but either way, I was another very free fight next to it. So.
Hourglasses, and again, just throw dragons at your problems, chat. That is what we've learned tonight, for sure.
One tip I will give to anybody who wants to try this flag set out, because of course we will be running this again on Friday if you want to join our community races. When you see our runners menuing here for all of these apples and feeding them to the characters, you do not need to repeatedly press A. Hold A for the love of your finger. Please just hold the A button down. It will automatically and very quickly use the apples on your characters for you. Will save you a lot of thumb pain. So yeah, when you're seeing our runners doing that, they're not mashing A.
Absolutely, and Gambit and chat confirming that the Kaipo guards are at the Queen's spot, and that Bahamut has taken over the King's spot. And about the apples, there is an option a runner might choose to plink, which is to essentially hit the A button and then you can press R right after it, and it sort of shadow inputs a second input. If you have very, very, very good timing, I believe it is faster than holding the A button, but really, you can just hold A.
Yeah, that's the first
Plinking hurts.
That's the first time I've heard
absolutely.
about a plinking strategy for that. That's actually very interesting, and I will never try it because my hands are too old.
Yeah, for that many apples, no thanks. Definitely.
That's bringing back old claw-style Monster Hunter play that I never want to go back to.
Yeah, as a programmer prone to carpal tunnel, no thank you.
Here comes the Mega Nuke for Tybalt. He's got Reflect on all of his team, though, so Bahamut's just going to take a face full. His own medicine. Some Lit Bolts getting thrown out here, and he should not be long for this world. Commander Leonhardt with very similar strategy.
And Ground Flyer crossing paths, also checking now the top right with the Baron in. The bottom left, we're getting a new check here, I believe, with the tower.
Yes, this is interesting. We were talking about this earlier about how it's not very attractive because there isn't a character here, but with the 2 key items available for Harambe, having gone through Baron and gotten that tower key, this could pay off with a key item that really opens things up.
Definitely. There are a number of key items here that would be very useful to find. There is, of course, the Darkness Crystal, but there is the package that holds a character. There's, like you said earlier, the Earth Crystal. There's the Sand Ruby if there's a good character at the Kaipo bed. So even the Pan with the summon, case summon is on, so the Pan will also give an item. Lots of options here.
Yeah, definitely a lot of ways to approach it. And, ooh, Tybalt is going into the tower. This is a keyless tower play.
Oh, thank you, Gambit. Gambit confirming Harumph in the bottom left here. Harumph is in the upper tower and also picked up a cane for his trouble, which is very nice to see. We run into a Val, will not be a problem for Harumph now.
Yeah, that is actually a very good point. Thank you for correcting that, Gambit. He did go, Harumph did go down through the cave route to get that character, and got him an advantage as far as character checks go. Just needing to find that Fusoya and Edward. And it's a Sparkle on top of the tower. Let's see who that boss really is.
I love the fight with the water hag when you rename Edward, because Anna says, shouts Edward's name, Goose! That really cracks me up. Ground Flyer finding, of course, the water hag up in the top right.
Yeah, Ground Flyer not one to be happy with a single horrible goose and has decided to have an entire family of them here tonight.
Eating apples to a turkey, I feel like, is very thematic right now. Is what Harumph is doing currently.
That's the true holiday experience there. And a rat tail on top of the tower. We've paled him, and we mentioned using kamikaze strats to get past that elemental defense, and that is exactly what Tybalt does. Gets that rat tail, and doesn't look like he has the hook yet to take advantage of that.
No, and it looks like he does not have the tower key either, so we'll just be heading right on out of here, take our rat tail, hope for future value out of it.
Once he does find that hook, though, he will be able, since we got the pink tail at the beginning of the seed, to get the fabled double tail turn in.
Definitely, and like I was saying earlier, I think the pink tail is something the runners won't be very interested in, but if you're already there, it's sort of like you might as well.
Yeah, sure. Get a pull from that high tier equipment pile, and
Well, speaking of Val, Harumph finding Val.
Yeah, it does have Kane, so will not get walled by this fight.
And even without, looks like Val is in a spot where she does not have her maximum MDef, so she was able to take pretty much full damage from those elemental consumables.
Yeah, that's really good news for Harumph there, just being easily able to get through. Let's see what flavor of Mylon is waiting in the Rubicante spot. Apparently, the elementals have decided to shift positions. It is the regular variety.
Yeah, and really seeing that Val there, I think, is very good news for our other runners who have, I believe all three of them have come down through the magma route. They may not actually check the hook character for quite some time, so it'll be good to know that they will not be blocked by Val. Though, of course, they don't know that.
Yeah, right you are. With Kane being on the route going down to Val, and her being in a spot with, as you mentioned, that low MDef. Not much to worry about. Val is really the boss that presents the most possibility for a block in this flag set, so good to know that that's not going to stand in any of our runners' way. Mop acquired for Ground Flyer. Commander Leonhardt is about to walk out of Dwarf Castle with his mop. And so with Kane's location known, at least to us, that he is waiting in Evelyn Cave, we're only looking for a bard now.
Indeed, and that bard really could be anywhere. The bard could be behind the package, could also be on the moon, or perhaps best for chat, most upsetting for the runners, the only bard could be behind the giant.
Right you are. Yeah, we don't know how many bards are out there. We don't know where any of those potential bards could be. It's Schrodinger's bard right now. I think that's how quantum mechanics works. Please don't correct me, anybody.
Not my forte, so I'm just going to say yes, definitely. Also, dragons. Did I mention dragons?
Dragons, yeah, that is our forte tonight. Throw dragons at it.
Gambit hoping for Bard on Giant behind CPU at Elements, Demist at CPU. You are evil, sir. And, delightfully so. Ground Flyer finding the not very useful Excalibur.
Yep, no paladins to wield it, no ninjas to throw it. Doesn't really do too much, but sit on your mantle and look nice.
Commander going down the Commander going down the Sylphs. The word came to me finally. Going down the Sylphs, going to check. No pan, so we'll check the. I imagine we're going to do the Sheila one check right after this. See if she's got the goods.
Yeah,
There's always a possibility of that vanilla pan.
Yeah, right you are. There's often a tendency to try to wait to go check on Yang until you've got the pan in hand. That can always bite you if Sheila's got the pan herself. And looks like Tybalt is going to be making the play on Baron Castle now. So that is going to be a tower key in his hands. No character to help him out here, but we'll make him maybe think about that Keyless Tower play a little bit.
Yeah, it's always an interesting. There are certain checks once you get underground and certain things are done. You start to make a concession about certain checks, like the Sheila one check without the pan, or like the Keyless Tower, where you start to hedge your bets towards one direction. And Sheila really just having a crystal ring here. A big womp for Commander Leonhardt, though it is a useful item for speed and defense.
Yeah, one of the more useful items you can probably get if you were forced to get a high tier item instead of progression, just because, as you mentioned, it does have agility manipulation on it. If you needed to adjust speeds for whatever reason, the crystal ring can help with that. But yeah, if you're Commander Leonhardt right now, you're wanting something that's going to put you further ahead on the trail here. Ooh, is Tybalt going for the Odin play here?
Looks like it.
I don't believe we've seen an Odin check by any of the other runners so far, so I really like this.
Makes a lot of sense. There are, well, actually, I mean, with the apples, really so many bosses are free. But without the apples, even, there would be a good number of bosses to see here that would be pretty free.
It was the water hag, yes.
This is where the water hag was.
Yeah, so never mind. This has been seen. It was a spoon. Okay, thank you, chat.
So what is Tybalt's Edward named? Tingle!
Yeah, Tybalt's got a whole N64 era Zelda theme going on, and I like it. Actually, no. It looks like it's just Zelda in general with King Roam on there.
But
But that we King Roam from Breath of the Wild, if I haven't missed my guess there.
I'm not certain. I'll just take your word for it. The dragons. So, while our runners are sorry, that's going to keep entertaining me. While our runners are essentially crossing paths with each other, I just want to take a moment to shout out the folks behind the scenes. We have LSL doing our restreaming, and we have Marty56 doing tracking.
Yeah, huge shout out to our volunteers, especially when we're going back to the 4-person restreams. It's definitely a chaotic thing, not only to restream, but also to track. So they're putting in a huge amount of effort. Big thanks to them for keeping us on point, because as you can see by my Odin observations there, clearly I can't keep track of 4 people.
Keeping track of 4 people, it has definitely been a while for us for some 4-person races.
Yeah,
I'm very excited to be back to it. Just the variety in flag sets in our community right now, the different races that we have in the clubs are really, for me, very fun to see. I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, got a large diversity of styles of play here, so it's been fun. The community race is always a wild card every week. We've got our jumping club back, we've got the Lunar Racing Club back, the Underground Club back, and the new Legacy Club that we've got running every Saturday as well, which is more of a narrative approach to free enterprise instead of a competitive one. So yeah, lots and lots of stuff that's going to be on tap for all y'all.
Definitely lots and lots for all sorts of different skill levels, different difficulties of flag sets. And if any of that interests you, I would encourage you to join our Discord. And we have a newbie chat if you'd like to learn. And there are some easy flag sets to kind of get started with. It's a very, very, very wonderful community. I've been here for a few months now, and I have just felt so utterly welcomed. It is truly one of the best communities, in my opinion.
Hey, we're happy to have you, Solaris. Ground Flyer with more dragon action here in the Fey March. Whereas Harumph in the same fight is relying on the Lip Bolt strategy instead. Neither of them are going to be rewarded with anything too exciting, but they will at least have that Fey March out of the way. We've got a Mist Cave check here by Tybolt, and there's the Nope Noodle. You're happy to see that in a place where you don't have to fight it.
Definitely. This is actually an interesting... I actually don't know the answer to this. If you throw these elemental items at Ogopogo, will Ogo react?
My understanding
will he
is
counter them?
Yes, he will counter them as if they were magic spells. Now, granted, in that spot, you'd one-shot him, but if he were to survive, then yeah, he would treat it as if you had cast a spell on him.
Sure. I mean, if he were to show up in a much worse location than that. Yeah, but Tybolt checking for that makes me think that we're on a Demist hunt at the moment.
Yeah,
on top of other checks.
Yeah, we've seen, just about everything. So yeah, I think you're right. I'm trying to think of a check in play that hasn't been seen yet. Do we have something trolly like a Demist in the Maga Sister spot? I'm starting to wonder.
If the Antlion, I believe one of the earlier checks, actually no, it's just Harumph that has the hook. Where was the hook? Do you remember?
I believe Hook was in Antlion, so Tybolt's about to get his hands on it.
Okay, so then we're going to be able to check the rat tail here real soon. Marty pointing out that the rat tail may be the answer here to unlock our problems. Just find some sort of additional progression.
Yeah, just at a quick glance at all of the items our runners have, I think the rat tail check is the only thing available that hasn't been checked so far.
So there's the rat tail, there's the tower itself. We saw top of tower.
Right,
but there's the tower itself, and there is also ordeals.
Oh goodness, yeah,
we
you're
might
right.
not have seen that because there's really no There's no Tala, there's no Cecil, there's no compelling reason to go there early, so could be there also.
Yeah, it's one of the checks we've just gotten so used to seeing early that yeah, it completely slipped my mind that none of runners have been there yet. So yeah, there's some stuff out there.
And yeah, Tybalt getting the hook, immediately raising that hovercraft. I imagine we're going to see a rat tail check here.
Yeah, would not surprise me in the least. And he's off.
And I think really, regardless of what you find here, if it is a key item, it is something to chase. I guess the one key item you would be sad to see would be the Legend Sword. But the Earth Crystal, even the package, Luca Key, Pan, of course Darkness, all of these things. And it's just a crystal sword. Imagine me just saying just a crystal sword.
Know, but yeah, that's the most disappointing crystal sword we've ever seen. It's like, thank you, miniature man. I can go get 1,000,000 free ones of these 2 towns over.
Tybalt not even interested in the pink tail. I do not blame him. We are getting a check from Ground Flare here after defeating Leviathan at a very low HP spot. We'll, in a moment, see what the tower holds for us.
And Tybalt's going to be heading into Evelyn Cave. Is going to get his hands on that cane. And that means he's only going to be an Edward away from go mode, but we have not seen that bard anywhere on any of our runner screens.
I'm somewhat hoping for the Demist to be at package and a character we don't need to be at package, just to sort of keep this train going.
So if you're in this position and you get the package, you go there, it's a character that you already have, do you keep doing it in the hopes that Demist is behind there?
I think if it were me, because we haven't seen Demist yet, and it would come from one of these kind of last checks that we're talking about, I would. I would as a just-in-case thing, because if it's not there, it's likely at this point, it would be at like the Naga Sisters Element spot, and that would be even longer to check for. Okay, Groundflyer finding the Earth Crystal, so that is very good news for him. That is 2 characters, potential characters to find, and further progression, and 2 bosses to find a Demist.
Yeah, if that
is pretty big to find here.
Yeah, if there's anything disappointing about that rock, it is that we are very unlikely to see a treasury check, so probably no rating tonight.
Indeed. Normally we would play rate that treasury, but this is the one flag set I imagine we will not see it.
Yeah, very little reason to go hunting for gear when you have all of these consumables that can do the work for you. So yeah, Groundflyer is in a particularly huge position here, depending on who these characters are. If it's a Kane and an Edward, he's going to be our first runner into go mode. The odds on that aren't great, but there are pretty good odds he will pick up something that is going to put him in the right direction.
Definitely, and even if it's just an Edward, I think that's best case scenario, because I imagine it pretty likely as the options narrow down that Groundflare goes to Antlion, finds the hook, he has the rat tail in hand, finds the hook and then can get the cane from the hook character check. So I can imagine, even if it's just an Edward, that go mode would happen pretty soon here.
Yeah, right you are. And of course, the other terrifying scenario is if there's no Edward here, we're running out of places for him to be.
Groundflyer finding our favorite. Ha ha ha. It is the Golbez.
That was a beautiful Golbez impersonation.
It's just like that, just deadpan ha.
I seriously thought there was a warlock in the booth with me. That's insane. Tybalt, meanwhile, is going to be making that Mount Ordeals play that we mentioned. 3 bosses, a single key item, no characters. Not exactly a fun check to make in this flag set, but it could give him something that could get some progression going.
And someone asking in chat, and I'm happy to explain just for anyone who might have come in later or not familiar with the flag set. So we have apples enabled. Well, really, it's a wild shops. So anything that can show up in a shop, actually anything can show up in a shop basically, and the apple consumable, and they're free. So you can buy up a stack, many stacks of apples, and get your characters up to maximum hit points. And that is what our runners have done here.
Yeah, it's one of those items that was dummied out of the US version of Final Fantasy II when it was released, alongside its counterpart, the Soma Drop, which does the same thing for NP. And that combined with a number of items that do damage based on your maximum HP can mean that you can roll through a so quickly. There's the Bard! We've got an Edward sighting.
Bard sighted. That is exciting to see. So, like I said, I imagine after this, Ground Flyer will be funneled into that Antlion check rather shortly. So I think we're going to start seeing our first go modes happen pretty quickly here. Oh, and the D-Mist found at the back attack spot by Tybalt in the bottom right here at Mount Ordeals.
Interesting. So we know where all of the characters are, but based on the things that our runners are running into, they might actually find alternate ways to get through the seed depending on where the characters end up.
Absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see if this D-Mist has... Well, we have the pass available, so we technically don't need the Darkness Rock because we have found our Bard. So, like you said, everyone might not end up going through the Earth Crystal check. There might be a Bard on the Moon also, and the D-Mist has, or Ordeals has, the Darkness. And I missed, what did we find on Ordeals?
I had a hitch and missed it myself.
Legend Sword, thank you, Marty.
With the Legend. Okay, so Vanilla Legend Sword, not exciting at all. Looks like, unless that D-Mist pays off for Tybalt, we're looking at a bit of a bust here.
Yeah, that's pretty much the one key item you didn't want to find.
So Ground Flyer has got to get his hands on a Dragoon. Is heading to check on Sheila 1 right now. Has the pan, though. So he's going to get 1 and 2. So
we are at a point, it could be, I've definitely done this myself, where when you do the Fate Outline play, it is easy to kind of forget about it or put it at the back of your mind. Or even if it's not like a forget thing, it's like there are other checks to do. We could see Ground Flyer doing that check pretty late here. Especially if we do Sheila 1 and then go to Ordeals, which I think is pretty convenient to go to after going to Fabul.
And wouldn't you know it, Commander Leonhardt, a man of the people, committed to the meme, is checking the Troya Vault.
I love it. Finding crystal armor.
Another adamant armor.
And I think the seed is laughing at us having an apple in one of these treasure chests.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
And a blizzard.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and give that treasury a 0 out of 10 because it's an apple seed.
I'm going to give it an, oh look, yet another adamant armor out of 10.
I'm going to give it an I want my 45 seconds back out of 10.
But I love the play. I think if I were being restreamed, I might have done that play myself. Gotta give the people what they want sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Tybalt checks in on Mrs. Rydia. Just a Sand Ruby. I can't remember what character was spotted in the bed, but apparently Tybalt knows it is a dupe and is not interested in that, and Ordeal's just not paying off at all.
I'm already confirming that Fusoya is in bed, so we have a mop in bed. But of course, all our runners have Fusoya.
And while our restream runners have been running, I do want to announce we have got a winner in tonight's community race. Antidale has finished in first place with a time of 43 minutes, 24 seconds. Big GG's to Antidale for taking the win here this evening.
Commander Leonhardt finding our favorite Laughing Warlock. Oh, and a Darkness Crystal found by Groundflyer here. There could be a Bard on the Moon.
Yeah, it's a strong possibility. That is all he needs for go mode. We'll see if it ends up paying off.
Definitely. I imagine he heads immediately there.
Of course, he also has the option of making the play for the...
Yes.
Oh, go right ahead.
I was going to say, in Groundflyer, he does have the Edward, so it'd be the Cane he'd be looking for on the moon.
Oh, right. Excuse me. Sorry, got that backwards.
As did I.
So Harumph is leaving the tower, is going to get his Earth Crystal. That will give him Edward, which is all he needs to finish the seed. If he decides to follow up on that Earth Crystal, then he can be finishing up. It's just gonna be a question of whether he decides to chase this or not.
Definitely, and with pass in hand, Harumph just doesn't even need the Darkness Crystal at this point.
Gosh, I didn't even get a chance to check who the character actually was on the Lunar Dais, but was not who Groundflyer was looking for. He resets out. And yeah, looks like Harumph is going to follow up on that Earth Crystal. So he is just one trip through Zot away from being in go mode here. And Tybalt hot on his heels is going to be getting his Earth Crystal as well. And if he makes a similar decision, he'll be right behind Harumph here. And yes, it looks like Tybalt is going to go ahead and do that, is heading over to Troya, going to turn in that Party Rock and hopefully get the characters he needs. We know Edward's up there. That's going to put him into go mode. Groundflyer, meanwhile, has found the hook in Antlion. As long as he follows the hook, he'll have a cane, and that's going to put him in go mode. He'll have the advantage of not having to go through the entirety. He just needs to go through Evelyn Cave to get the character checked. Yes, looks like he is going to get the hovercraft launched, so he will be making that check, and all of a sudden this has become a very close race. We have a lot of runners on stream converging and going continuously. Question from chat, is the only cane hiding in hook route? The only cane that we found so far is on the hook route. I believe we still have not checked the character on the giant, and I think that is the only character check we have left, unless I'm forgetting one. Package, right. We have not found the package either. And yep, Groundflyer on his way over, going in Evelyn Cave, and we'll be picking that cane up momentarily. Got a little bit of a high five here in the Tower of Zot. Harumph and Tybalt taking on Golbez simultaneously. This has become very, very close between the two of them. They're going to end this right over at Troya. They both have got the pass. They're going to be able to turn it right in to go to Golbez. So keep your eye on both of their screens as this is going to be down to the wire. And don't count Ground Flyer out either. As soon as he picks up this cane, he can exit right out and head up to Troya as well to finish things off. And there is the crystal for Ground Flyer. There is the crystal simultaneously for Harumph. Tybalt, unfortunately, has given up on the Zot path and is going. Oh no, looks like he took a wipe and did not save beforehand, so he's going to have to fight his way back through. That is really, really unfortunate. But this has now become a race between Ground Flyer and Harumph here. All right, down goes Leviathan. He'll be able to go back out here. Dark Knight Cecil is down. Harumph is going to be out of here and ready to go. And Ground Flyer is on his way to the Z fight. Let's see those free and Z flags if you've got them. Because we have a very important question to ask, and I know my co-commentator is having a little bit of audio problems here. I am hoping he gets back in time so that he can ask the question himself. And Harumph is through, is going to be heading up to Troya, is going to be hot on Ground Flyer's heels. This is going to be very, very close. It's going to come down to the execution on this Z fight between the two of them. And while they're going on, we have had a second place finisher, Zoe Vermillion, finishing in second place, the time of 50 minutes, 37 seconds. So, GG's to Zoe. And well, up on Ground Flyer's screen, we need to ask the question, whose butt are we going to be kicking this evening? The crystal is thrown, and tonight, the feasting family is going to fight. It's Lichmas, the original Fiend of Earth.
Curse you, computer. Did not get to say it.
Welcome back, Solar. You know what?
Thank you so much.
We're going to have Harumph about to go in, so why don't you ask for Harumph?
I shall do so. Yeah, thank you. Computer issues seems to be solved now. Ground Flyer throwing a silk web, and I believe he threw a small child at the problem. So this may be a kamikaze thing.
Yeah, it's got 3 characters at the quad 9s HP wise. It'll be just a matter of kamikazing, elixiring, lifing, kamikaze, elixir, life. Don't need to really worry about the big bangs too much. They do a lot of damage, but there's no way they're going to be threatening to this team. Just want to make sure you elixir up so you're getting the max damage out in between there.
Definitely, but otherwise... Big Bang? Meh. Not something you often get to see against C.
Yeah, not usually. Just kind of a little pop tonight.
And as Harumph loads into the battle, I am definitely now going to say, whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
It's Lichmas. Shh. Don't tell Solaris, I already know. Speaking of things we already know, Invenerable already knows victory, finishing in third place with a time of 53 minutes and 34 seconds. GG's to Inven. And we've got a little raid from our second place finisher here tonight. Thank you so much, Zoe Vermillion. And congratulations on your finish tonight.
I feel like there's a theme going on of something about the life and death of Grandflyer's characters against Lichmas. It just feels thematic to me.
Yeah, for every season, turn, for everything, there's a reason. I don't know the lyrics. I don't want to get DMCA'd anyway, so we'll end it there.
I would hope we don't get DM for our own voice, but you never know.
What, are you saying that wasn't a pitch perfect recreation? I'm offended.
Now, Harumph is in the battle with all characters on quad 9s. It may go just a bit faster for him, though I imagine it will not be faster enough to get through this fight faster than Grandflyer does.
Yeah, and it certainly isn't going to be fast enough to beat a Stone Dingley, because they have finished in fourth place with a time of 55 minutes and 10 seconds. So GG's Stone Dingley.
Tybalt receiving his go mode will be in the Z fight himself shortly.
But yeah, as you mentioned, there's definitely a school of thought to debating how much time it's worth spending in the menus, getting all of your characters to quad 9s, versus how much time it actually saves in the fight itself. So yeah, it's certainly, I don't know if there is a golden ratio to hit, but yeah, there's certainly some discussion to be had there.
Absolutely, and what Harumph is doing makes a lot of sense to me with all of your characters being at quad 9s. Just throwing those elemental spells with the veils up, just really trying to get use of every single character, because if you were to start doing the kamikaze thing, you will eventually end up in a loop much like Groundflyer's in, where you just have 3 characters. One does kamikaze, one does life, one does elixir.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an easier strategy to manage here, because you're essentially doing the same thing with every character. Groundflyer has to be cognizant of what character's up, what their health value's at, so that he's not like accidentally tapping a kamikaze on his last character or something like that, which would spell disaster.
Right, that would be quite unfortunate. Especially for a fight that you know is essentially free.
Someone who is not unfortunate tonight, however, is Flurry14, finishing in 5th place with a time of 55 minutes, 45 seconds, just behind a Stone Dingley there. So GG's to Flurry.
GG's to Flurry, and Commander Leonhardt, checking the giant character here, finds a Baigen at the Elements spot. This spot has a lot of hit points.
Yeah,
and
Baigen
our team is not fully HP'd up, though we do have some very good spells. And
there's a Berserk Edward with a bow. I mean, that's a thing.
But yeah, finding Baigen here, really finding any boss that has multiple characters to it at the element spot is not fun, because they tend to have more than 65,000 hit points total.
Falling Rocks for Groundflyer, the last kamikaze, there it goes. We get the regular fade out for Groundflyer, and the swag kamikaze kill, no shaking, no flashing. The boss music is still playing on his screen, and Groundflyer has finished in 6th place with an official time of 57 minutes, 41 seconds. GG's to Groundflyer.
GG's to Groundflyer.
And we'll see if we can get Groundflyer in here and talk about that bit of fun there.
And just as I was saying it, you know what? With Commander Leonhardt, again, just throw dragons at your problems.
Yeah, Baigen's difficult because he's got the multiple targets and he puts the wall up. And the fun thing about dragons is they don't care about any of that. Gosh, I am really hoping it's Kane here for Commander Leonhardt because I like this play so much, even though we know that it's not necessarily the quote right unquote play. But I really would like this to pay off.
I think it's certainly the right play for Commander Leonhardt if you're this late in the race. You know that it's a pretty quick flag set. And we are joined by Groundflyer now. GG's to you, Groundflyer. We might be setting up with a mic currently.
Yeah, we'll see. Once he's got that set up, we'll definitely be interested to get his thoughts on this seed here tonight. Tybalt is now officially in the Zeromus fight as well, recovering from that wipe, and is going to be on Harump's heels. As Commander Leonhardt continues to throw dragons at his problems.
Yeah, the nice thing about throwing a multi-target attack at Baigen is that if you can get into a loop with destroying the arms, you can kind of lock Baigen out of doing anything really productive.
And there's the regular collapse for Lichimus on Harump's screen. Harump has finished in 8th place with an official time of 59 minutes, 59 seconds, just getting in underneath the hour mark. And getting a little bit sniped by Poidrak, who beats him by 10 seconds at 59.49 and taking 7th place. But big GG's to Harump for finishing this seed. And yeah, as soon as we can, we'll get our runners in here and pick their brains a little bit. There's the first big bang there for Tybalt, and goodbye, Edward. Hello, Kamikaze Mob.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yes. GG's, Groundflyer.
Thanks, GG's. Yeah,
Yeah, yes. Something, Fade Antlion.
Yeah, that felt really great. I just kept finding stuff. Like it never reached a point where I was like, I mean, I knew it was there. Like I knew I faded it, but I was going underground. I'm like, I might as well just blow everything up.
Yeah, and I mean, it was completely logical too. You had the Magna Key. There were all these places to check. Yeah, what could Antlion possibly have?
Exactly. Like I just basically looked for the shinies, and the shinies were anything that had a character in it. So once I saw Underground, I was like, okay, well, at Baron Inn, need to do that anyway because there's a character there, and of course that opened up Baron Castle, so I had to do that. And then Odin's right there, I might as well do that. And then I went down and did Dwarf, and that obviously didn't give me anything. So it was just a matter of clearing things out until I got the key items.
Yeah, I think you're.
Go right ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go right ahead. I was gonna
say you're definitely in good company. I think with the routing here, 3 of our 4 restreamed runners, I believe, did the essentially same play, because Harumph was the only one who found the hook really very early.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I wish I found that hook because Kane was right there. If I could have saved a lot of time, I went to the moon to check, and that didn't work. And yeah, so it definitely cost me some time. I don't think it cost me a whole lot. But this is the first time I've ever done Appleseed stuff, so I was kind of winging it, and my hands are sore. Ouch! Those clicking the apple thingy over and over again, like 100,000 times with 3 characters. It kind of hurts your fingers after a while.
Oh, I hate to tell you this now. Did you know you can hold the A button down?
What?
I'm sorry, buddy.
Are you serious?
You can hold down the A button, and it's actually fast. It's actually faster than mashing, unless you like plink the R button, but then you're just insane.
Sighs into oblivion.
Well, now you know for next time, right?
Yeah, next time. I'll definitely be doing lots of these apples. Well, I mean, Friday I'll be back. Good to know.
So this is definitely something of an unorthodox flag set compared to what we've been doing with all the tournament stuff recently. Was this a nice change of pace, breath of fresh air? What was kind of your overall thoughts on it?
Oh, heck yeah. This was like basically the exact opposite of 3 Zone stuff, because it's only the character stuff, like not the other kinds of objectives. you're not really worried about XP or grinding or any of that. You're appling up, and and then you have infinite items. Like, it was fun just getting kamikazes and just literally like, that enemy's gonna get blown up, that other enemy's gonna get blown up. So yeah, it was an awesome, refreshing change of pace. I mean, I love the versatility of the flag set, so it's great to see that in action now that the tournament's over.
Yeah, definitely. I was kind of commenting on that myself too. Being somebody who came in sort of in the middle of the Zenith Zone flags, I also appreciate the variety in the flag sets that we've got going right now in the community runs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I do have a question with knowing that Kane was out there, not having him kind of quite so soon. Were you worried about a Val at a rude spot?
Honestly, I hadn't thought about it. I guess the question is, does Kamikaze break through a Val? Because if that's the case, then nah.
It does not, unless that Val doesn't have maximum MDef.
Ooh, that's spicy. That might have caught me. Yeah, I totally didn't even think about that. I was just like, I don't know, I got quad 9s. I'm just going to hit this button that makes quad 9s hit the other thing and make it die. What's logic? I don't know.
10,000 HP, Unga Bunga, let's go.
Exactly. Once I had the means to blow things up for maximum damage, I kind of stopped thinking about strategy too much.
Yep, and welcome to Apple Percent, right? Or welcome to Apple Seeds.
That's right.
Well, any final thoughts you have on tonight's race that you want to share with us, Ground Flyer?
Not a lot. Just happy to be here. Happy to be, restreamed by the community, and want to thank, I guess it's Alicel for broadcasting this, Marty for hitting the buttons, and Smapty Solaris, thank you so much for doing comms. I look forward to watching this back. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely enjoy the playback, and enjoy us not being able to keep up with 4 racers because it's been too long.
I hear that.
Indeed. Also, Dragons. I'm just going to put that out right now. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much, and you have a good one.
Take care.
And catch you up on a few finishes we've had off screen. We have got Lord Bob Bree finishing 9th place with 1:02:58 time. Rumblefish82 has got 10th place with 1 hour, 5 minutes, 4 seconds. And we just recently on screen had Tybalt finish in 11th place with 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 8 seconds. Right now, though, we're joined with our 8th place finisher, and that's Harump. Harump, how are you doing? How do you feel about that?
It was nice to have a fairly quick seed. I was hoping to finish under an hour and just got under the wire there. So
hey, you did
literally just under the wire. Well done.
You technically succeeded, and that's the best success.
I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely. So, what'd you think about the seed overall?
When I look at the objectives here, I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do already here, which was find the characters as soon as I can and find a way to get damage out as soon as I can. So I figured with wild chops and free items here, all right, I'll hopefully find some apples and hopefully find something like a firebomb, lit bull, something like that here, and just to get that damage out, just get as much damage as I can in a short amount of time. So.
Makes sense, and the seed paid out in dividends as far as that strategy is concerned.
Wish I would have, checked the city earlier here, because they had the gold apples, and like sell for silver apples earlier here. Probably would have saved a few minutes there.
Yeah, it's always incredible how much less menuing those gold apples make over the silver ones. It doesn't seem like it would be much, but then in the end, you're like, oh wow, I'm out of there a lot quicker.
The race to 99.99 is surprisingly slow.
Yes, definitely. I believe it's the difference between 2 full sets of apples or 1, something near that. So it is quite a bit of time save.
Yeah, at least I don't have to worry about the gale.
Yeah, there you go. What was sort of your routing strategy like tonight? How did you sort of approach what objectives you wanted to do, or not objectives, what spots you wanted to check, and what your overall sort of routing was? Can you kind of walk us through that a little bit?
Well, first it was to try to find here like what my strategy was, see if if what I was planning here was going to be viable. So the first thing was check the item shop. So Troya, having the most number of item shops here was naturally going to be the first place to look here, and it was just a matter of hunting down so I could find the items here, and then just try to get the the character checks done first, so I can get through the objectives, and then once I exhausted the character checks, try to figure out, all right, where do I find a key item so I can find out the character checks that'll lead me to the other I think 2 or 3 characters, 2 characters to finish off the seed.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I believe you were actually the first person to find on our the restreamed runners to find the apples, and you were also the first person to find the hook. So you had that cane early on as well.
Yeah, like once it got down to the key item check, it was just a matter of like, do I guess correctly? And probably should have done tower a little earlier, but yeah, them's the breaks.
Yeah, definitely with a flag set like this, and really when the world is just your oyster, it's sort of just like, where do you even go, right?
It's like, right, do I pick one? Like, Fey March here was a bit of a trap here, because with the strategy here, you might as well just do Fey March once. So, and yeah, I don't think that really paid off. And yeah, and a few of the later checks I had here just didn't work out, but hey, that's the way it goes.
Right, and I think in your defense, most of our runners that went to Fey March also made that check because, sort of like your setup, we're able to handle the fights. It's sort of like you might as well while you're there.
Yeah, like if I can avoid having to go down more than once, so it's probably a good idea.
Well, any final thoughts that you had on tonight's race or this flag set in general?
Yeah, this was a nice one here to try to get back into racing mode. I had a bit of a break here after 3 was zone here, where just had to decompress a little bit, so I hadn't been running too many seeds. So a nice quick chase like this here, it's a lot of fun, and because I haven't been feeling too great as of late here, the shorter the seeds, the better. So yeah, if I'm not running a 3-hour seed, I'll take it.
There you go.
Yeah, we're very happy to have you back.
It's good to be back, and hopefully here we'll it's a nice way to a nice way to get back in the swing of things, and hopefully it'll be uphill, upwards from here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much, Haram, for being volunteering to be restreamed tonight. It's been a pleasure watching your race, and hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, and thank you to the people putting on this show tonight. Here we speak to is Laris on comms, Marty doing the tracking, and Alicel on the restream.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was Haram finishing 8th place tonight, and 59.59, just under an hour on the seed. So GG's to him. And I believe we are joined by Tybalt. Tybalt, how's it going?
It's going pretty good, actually.
Yeah. So that Golbez, eh?
Yeah, I know. I set my controller down to give myself something to drink when I was like, have to wait for a cutscene, and my reset button got hit. And I'm like,
oh, okay. We was wondering what happened there, because it was took our eye away for a second, and I was like, oh gosh, it must have wiped or something. But that's that's so rough.
Yeah, I was like, at least I know where everything is. I know I got to go to Tower Key to get the Earth Crystal to go.
I mean, it's heartbreaking, because if you get a chance to watch this back, you and Harumph were on screen literally neck and neck, like we're on the same fight at the exact same moment. So it was looking like it was going to be a Zeroma showdown, and then that happened, and it was heartbreaking.
Oh, I'm definitely going to check that back. This is actually one of like first apples type seeds I've actually done before, so I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, no, you ran it very, very well. You were one of, like I said, right alongside Harumph there, with how you just kind of ratted and got access to all of the characters. What was kind of your general approach going in?
General approach is generally since pretty much just character checks, just go where all the characters are going to be. So you're going to check Hobbs, you're going to check Baron. I forgot that, even if the characters are already in your team, you still have to grab them to get the quest completed. So leaving that
I don't think you're the only one that fell for that trap, so don't worry about that.
Well, luckily I was able to get another form in Baron, which is nice.
Yeah.
So. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I ended up looking for Demas and it wasn't at the King Queen F1 spot, so I was sad.
Yeah, that would have been a pretty spicy place to find it. So later on in the seed, how are you feeling about finding what you did at the outline spot?
I wasn't too happy about it because I'd baited it for so long, and it's just like, I know it's a quick check, but at that point, you've already got underground access with me checking Fabul right away, so I want to get all those checks, and Baymarch being a complete dud didn't help.
Right. You are in good company, I will say, though. Two of the other runners kind of did the same thing, and a couple people in chat also mentioned that they've ended up fading outline.
Yeah.
I imagine it's kind of an artifact of the interesting routing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you feel about the apple, kind of the apple seed aspect of it overall?
It's quite fun, actually. I just wish I would remember the difference between AU and AG.
Oh, I still messed that up. I actually wrote it down, AU and AG, so that I wouldn't mess it up on comms.
I know one's silver, one's gold. I just can't remember. When you're in a race, you can't remember which one's which. And you see 50, you're like, oh, wrong one.
See, the way I remember it, and this is incredibly stupid, which is why it sticks with me, AG is a great apple, but AU is a ultimate apple.
I will remember that. I will remember that. That is very good.
That's gonna push actual useful knowledge out of your brain now.
Yeah, yes, it will.
No,
actually.
I didn't need it anyways.
But I will say, finding those adamant armors in, I think it was Kaipo, was really nice, because at that point I was afraid of nothing. Nothing could stop me.
I'm sorry, I gotta interrupt Zoe Vermillion's mnemonic in chat of saying "ag" when you get the apples is probably the best.
Especially if you say it that way again.
Ag.
Thank you.
So,
Did you?
Did you have any other thoughts on the scene time, Alt, or what was kind of your overall, just kind of anything else you want to say?
I was just hoping that like the Edward wasn't sitting at Giant or on Darkness, because I was thinking, oh boy, it's gonna be on the Giant. But he was sitting there in Tower of Zot, which was nice.
Yeah, it was starting to look like he might be, but then Zot paid off, thankfully, and saved us all from the Giant play.
Which I was ready to do. I was ready to, get the Darkness Crystal, go directly to the Palace, check the character there, and then immediately go to the Giant fights. Because that's all I had left.
Right. Well, thanks so much, Tyvault. That was an absolute pleasure watching your race tonight. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and thanks so much for volunteering to be restreamed.
Yeah, no problem. You guys have a good one, and thanks for restreaming and commentating. I know it takes all of you all combined together to be able to put this at the show on, and we couldn't do it without you.
Definitely. Thanks so much. It's good having you.
Take care, Tyvault.
Yeah, you too.
And we've got Commander... I was going to say, we've got Commander Leonhardt here, also in the Z fight now. And,
yeah, very interesting, because he did not go for the full apples on his whole team here, and is instead going for slightly more traditional strategies here.
Yeah, definitely. With the mages on our party, we're pretty well set up for reflex strats here. It might take some finagling to not get ruined by a big bang, that like a really high trolley roll, but otherwise, I think we'll be in pretty good hands here in this fight. Everyone's got a pretty healthy amount of hit points.
You did want to catch up on a few finishes that we had during those interviews. Rowdy Sniper finished in 14th place at an hour 9:58. Scythe Marshall in 15th place at an hour 10:06. Twisted Flax finished 16th place at an hour 10:43. Behind him was Dragus in 17th place at an hour 12:05. And Bad Karma has just finished at an hour 13:32, which is going to give him 18th place. So GG's to all of our runners that are finishing this year tonight.
Definitely GG's to our runners. And again, if you are new to Free Enterprise, you've not raced before, or you've not played it and you're interested, I would highly encourage you to join our Discord and to just kind of, we have very easy flag sets that you could start with. A seed doesn't really take much more than maybe 3 or 4 hours total to do, I think, very casually. And the community is very helpful for answering any questions that you might have in our newbie chat, and it's a good time. It's good people.
Indeed. And if you are have played before and you're looking to de-rust a little bit, we do run these same community flag sets twice a week, once on Monday and once on Friday. So if what you've seen tonight looks entertaining, feel free to give it some practice during the week, give it a try, see if you like it. And if you do, by all means, at 10 p.m. Eastern on Friday, we will have our second Gather Your Friends and Feast flag set for the community race then. So be sure to stop by and give it a try.
Definitely. And if you are also interested, we do have our community clubs. So there are other events also for us to join in on. We do have on Sundays our Slapdash. It's Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Those are with randomly generated flags, slightly modified so that they're completable in a reasonable amount of time. We have our Underground Racing Club. Those are Tuesdays at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We have our Mysidian Jumping Club with the Push Beta Jump flags. That is on Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And the Lunar Racing Club, which is a harder flag set leaning more towards Catalyte. That is on Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Basically, what we're getting at is you cannot escape free enterprise. It is all-consuming. It is all-knowing. You had better just submit.
That is definitely the way it is. But no, seriously, there's just all sorts of stuff to do. And even if not those, there's people post clips and seeds all the time. People do pickup races. Lots to do. Lots and lots to do.
Commander Leonhardt has been at this fight for a good bit. It would not surprise me if this is the last big bang that we see based on the amount of spellcasting damage he's got thrown around here. The idea for the strategy that Commander Leonhardt is going for here is Zeromus will refill his HP at a certain point, but if you do a reflective damage, he will never activate that counterattack. And yes, just like that, that is the final amount of damage he needed. Lichimus is down. Commander Leonhardt has finished in 21st place with a time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 43 seconds. GG's to Commander Leonhardt, and we'll see who wants to pop in and have a few words here before we sign off.
GG's to Commander Leonhardt. And we are now joined by Commander Leonhardt. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, so the only runner on screen with the courage to do the giant. So thank you so much for showing that up for us.
I figured as much, and that is, in fact, exactly why I did it.
Truly a runner for the people.
I saw the first place finish, and I was like, who knows? And then I saw the second, the third, the fourth, and I'm like, oh, it's either that Antlion or that Ordeals I faded. What about the Giants?
Yeah, Ordeals was just vanilla tonight. But yes, Antlion was indeed the key. I liked about no apple strats from you here. What was that, an intentional thing, or just didn't stumble upon them in the shop? What was kind of your approach there?
I mean, apparently I don't know what apple straps really are, because I did get the apples in Mysidia and quickly cranked Rydia and Forum up to about 2,000 hit points and said, seems good enough.
Oh, okay. That I mean, that's perfectly reasonable. A lot of the other racers, what they did was went up to 9999 on everybody, and then used those HP-based elemental items to go through.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, going to
nice
about 2,000
more,
hit points. That's about what I would have done myself. Actually, the first time I ran this flag, so it's exactly how you ran it, Commander, is exactly how I ran it. Just kind of get your characters to a healthy, a healthy threshold, and then just try to run the seat over with that. So it makes a lot of sense to me. And anyways, Smeepty, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we did get to see a lot of that Bahamut, which is always nice.
Yeah, good times.
So, what was
Did
sort
any
of
other
your-
runners hunt down sirens, or like was there just no need, or what?
If there were sirens available, I don't think anybody picked them up because they just used HP strats to get through everything.
Right.
Fair
So the way it
enough.
ends up playing out, you get your characters to quad nines, at least a few of them, and then you throw one of either Lit Bolt, Blizzard, or Firebomb, which at that HP threshold will do about 5,000 points of damage, or you kamikaze your characters. And you pretty much throw that at all of your problems. If you find that combination, levels are fairly irrelevant.
Makes a lot of sense.
But we got a textbook example of HP refill skip strats tonight, so that was really nice to see. Instead of just throwing old men and children at the entity beyond the void.
We'll take it.
So, yes, definitely.
But yeah, any
Yes.
final thoughts or anything else you wanted to share about the run here tonight?
It's an interesting take. I mean, I hadn't run it before, and there's no practice in. Just kind of looked it over and went, all right, we will see what happens. Obviously, you know your party the moment you get started, and and I now see the spoon in the basement with the water hag, and I am miffed. Urgh. And that's my final thought. I had my spoon word. No.
Yeah, even though we had the chance for Adam and Spoonward, we didn't see a lot of him tonight. It was sad. He ended up being the last character for most people. So
Opportunity missed for sure.
maybe on Friday.
Maybe.
Well, thanks so much, man.
As
Really
always, thank you all for being on comms. Snape D, Solaris, Alisale for restreaming. Marty, thank you for the tracking. Everyone hanging out in chat, thanks for watching. And GG's to everyone else in the race and everyone else that was restreamed.
Yes, and as I said, thank you as well for volunteering to be restreamed. Always a pleasure to see you in action, Commander Leonhardt, and looking forward to seeing you playing again sometime soon.
Likewise, always fun.
Take care.
Too.
And with that, that is going to do it for tonight's showcase race. What did you think about this tonight, Solaris?
I thought this was quite a fun one for our runners. Nothing was really too rude, and being able to pick up those apples and just kind of throw your characters or some lip bolts at all your problems, it is a nice, for me, refreshing take on, to kind of come in right after our league play. So it was definitely a pleasure to watch. It was such a pleasure to commentate, and thank you so much for having me, and thank you to Alisal and to Marty. And of course, maybe to you for being my co-commentator tonight. This was my first time, and I had really a wonderful time of it.
Yeah, you did a fantastic job tonight, Solaris. So give it up in chat for Solaris, by the way. It's not easy at all to get up on the mic in front of everybody and put yourself out there like that. And Solaris did a fantastic job tonight. Hope to see him in the booth more often.
Well, I greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming out. But yeah, this was a great time to just kind of let our hair down. And after all of the pomp and circumstance of the 3-Miss Zone tournament, have a nice, nice fun little flag set themed around the holidays here. And we're not going to end the free enterprise tonight just yet. We are looking for someone to send you off to so you can get some more Final Fantasy IV action here for the rest of the evening. And it looks like we are going to be raiding community member Kinda Nerdy Housewife, who is still racing. So please no spoilers when we go over there, but definitely root her on, and we'll wish her the best as we clean this up.
All right, sounds good, and I wish a good night to all of you. Happy free enterprise.
Absolutely. And for our restreamer Alisale, our tracker Marty56, and my co-commentator Solaris, my name is Smapey, and thank you so much everybody for watching tonight.
Great night.